Welcome everybody. This is Chris Dwayne from Chris Dwayne SilverShieldCoins.com. Every week I release two new mini mintages that come out on Thursday at noon. This week we have two new ones. One is called Stack or Starve, and the other one's called World War III is the Spiritual. These are available for 1 week only, and we only produce what we sell. So you can find those over at Chris Dwayne SilverShieldCoins.com. Today I wanted to talk about how JP Morgan is now hoarding silver. I have a long history. I used to have a YouTube channel called The Greatest Truth Never Told that had 173,000 subscribers. I started in 2011 after I wrote the Silver Bullet, Silver Shield, which was the manifesto that got many people to start stacking early on, way back in the day when nobody was really talking about silver. When I did that, I got onto YouTube and I built that channel up, and I became a pretty big influence maker in physical silver. And one of my main opponents during that time period was JP Morgan, because I saw them as the main actor in the silver manipulation after they took over Bear Stearns' bankruptcy and their silver short position. And since that time, JP Morgan opened up their own COMEX vault and successfully stacked hundreds of millions of ounces of physical silver in the face of all this paper manipulation. There's upwards of 365 paper silver contracts for each physical silver ounce, but JP Morgan was the custodian of all these silver things, with the ETFs and the COMEX and all this other stuff that they're stacking a lot of physical silver in the same time. So I just read this article over at the Economic Times saying that JP Morgan is now going long silver and is making history. The bank now holds over 750 million physical ounces of silver and is the largest stockpile in the world, and in just 6 weeks has added 21 million ounces. That's a staggering move to make under market pressure. Now, I've been talking about how physical silver is the only way out of this paradigm. And here's JP Morgan basically putting the largest checkbook, and they're going to be the nexus corporation for all the silver that's going to go out there in the world in industry. JP Morgan's going to have a stranglehold on it. And they're not buying it to hold the physical silver down. They're buying it because the dollar is going to go away, and when that happens, it's going to lead to a hyperinflation that's going to take down the entire global Ponzi scheme. Now, JP Morgan has over $60 trillion worth of derivative contracts that are still there, but this article says that they have left. Between June and October, JP Morgan reportedly sold off its entire 200 million ounce paper short position, and this freed up cash to acquire physical silver, leaving the bank long in both physical silver and paper silver for the first time ever. This is a powerful and rare market position that has happened. And we just had over the Thanksgiving break entity we don't know try to stand for delivery for 37 million ounces of physical silver, and that's when they shut down the COMEX, the CME, for over 11 hours, and then that contract was moved to March. So there's a big entity that's coming to take physical delivery, and they got pushed forward till March. So we're now in middle of December, that within months we could have a default in physical silver that would change the entire economic system of the world with one default. This means that you need to be all in on physical silver now, because at some point I think that we're just going to sell out, and silver's not going to be available on eBay, won't be available online, and certainly won't be available at the three major trading houses of the LBMA, the COMEX, and the Shanghai. This default is going to sell out silver. We're not going to have stair-step rise in physical silver prices, because the gap that would need to be breached is so large that this is over a 2025-year manipulation of physical silver since Jesus Christ kicked the banksters out of the temple and was crucified for 30 pieces of silver or 15 ounces of silver. This is a multi-generational global debt-based Ponzi scheme that's going to collapse, and silver is going to be released from this manipulation. And this little article about JP Morgan being number one in line, they're going to be the first in line when this all goes down. There'll be 365 other paper claims to that silver, but since JP Morgan is custodian of all this silver, they're going to be first in line when this all goes down. So I think that this conversion from JP Morgan is ahead of what I think Elon Musk needs to do, which is get onto a silver standard for his corporations, because all of his market cap is derived off of physical silver. He's got solar, electronic vehicles, rockets, all this high-tech industry that he has is very reliant upon physical silver. And I think when silver revalues to unobtainium, is where it's simply not available, the market caps of all those industries are going to be at risk. And here comes JP Morgan sitting on a 750 million ounce stockpile of silver that would essentially leverage that against all these corporations, and I'm sure take equity interest in it to get the physical silver. So JP Morgan has been in this game for a long time. If they have physically gone long physical silver, this to me means it's the end game. They are acting as if they are a nation state where all these other governments and institutions have been stacking gold. JP Morgan was smart and stacked physical silver. They listened to me. They should give me a reward for getting them involved in the most profitable silver trade ever on earth. But I don't think that'll happen. You can be a part of it with buying these Silver Shield coins that I've created over the last 14 years with over, probably 600, 700 designs by now. Each one of them a mini mintage that's only available for 1 week only. And you can find them mostly over on eBay. I've been trying to get my Silver Shield group to stop selling Silver Shield on eBay, but they are getting high premiums, which I know is allowing them to stack more physical silver, which is a good thing, I guess. But at some point, the weak hands have got to sell out, and you have to realize that once you sell a Silver Shield, it'll never come back to you, because I think that the price of Silver Shield is going to rise so astronomically higher than the physical silver underneath it that you won't be able to get your collections. Now is the time to be rounding out your collections before JP Morgan does their big thing, and while they're still able to transmit, digits over online and get silver in the mail, like we still can do. So if you're interested in following me, you can follow me over at ChrisDeWayne, SilverShieldCoins.com. You get your silver now before JP Morgan, squishes the banks and takes over Wall Street. I mean, to have a silver hoard when the entire global Ponzi scheme is collapsing says to me that JP Morgan was very a part of creating this manipulation. And I don't know how they get away with it, but they're probably going to get away with it, manipulating all the silver down for so long and then reversing the trade and going long physical silver when they know that the game is up. They have inside knowledge that this is an unsustainable paper Ponzi scheme that they have going on, and that the only way out is going to be physical silver, but it's going to be a dramatically revalued silver that's going to be much higher, I think, than even gold. So you can find me over at ChrisDeWayne, SilverShieldCoins.com. This week is new Stack or Starve, or World War III is spiritual. Thank you.